Hello, hello! How is everyone? I'm gonna turn this bee business down. It's kind of a lot of bee sounds. There we go. What's going on here? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Alright. I am almost done eating this bagel as well. Okay. There we are. There. Oh wait, one sec. There we go. Bum 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 bum. Woohoo! There we are. I hope you guys are ready. I'm gonna let a couple more people join us before I start. There we go. Okay, guys. I've consumed my bagel. Okay. All right. Bees. Welcome to another terrarium classroom. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Who all do we have with us today? We have Strong, we have Varric, Gary's with us, we got Kaylee. Hello, everyone. Anyone else here, feel free to pop into chat and say hi. But yeah, we're gonna be talking all about bees. Bees. Very exciting. I need to make sure I am watching this so I can throw the link, a very useful link at you. Where? Where'd this thing go? Damn it. Why am I so unprepared for everything? Oh, I know where it is. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, everyone, you are going to want that link. I posted it in the stream chat. We're going to need that today, okay? All right. Just make sure you have that handy. All right, so bees. Bees are part of the insect order Hymenoptera. This order includes bees, ants, and wasps. And so, if you were with us last week, or whenever the fuck it was, like 2 weeks ago, and I talked about taxonomy and classification, you'll remember seeing this thing. Except for I only showed you a small portion of this picture, not the full picture. Yeah, okay, so we are going to be focusing specifically on these, the Hymenopterans. So let's zoom in. Bum, bum, bum. Oh no, that's not very clear at all. What the fuck? The picture quality is like garbage. That's a bummer. Ah, don't worry about it. I will tell you what you need to see on these, and I can always share this PowerPoint later. Okay. So these are Hymenopterans. So Hymenoptera is a group of insects that contains the bees, ants, wasps, horntails, and sawflies. They're known for having membranous wings. They're named for the type of wing that they have. So they're differentiated into two major categories. We have the Symphyta and the Apiculture. Apiculture, something like that. And it's based on whether or not they have something called a petiole or a pinched waist. So the Symphyta are the sawflies and the horntails. They have a wide connection between their thorax and their abdomen. And the Apiculture have a narrow pinched abdominal connection. So when you think about bees, ants, and wasps, you can clearly see 3 body segments on them, right? Like you draw an ant, you draw a circle, 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 and a bunch of legs and whatever, because there's that much going on. But when you draw a ladybug, you don't draw 3 separate body sections, you usually draw 1, because that's what you can see from a distance. With these Apiculture, whatever you call them, this grouping of insects, they have a very distinct waistline. Yeah. So those are all of our bees, ants, and wasps. They're from this category. So I thought we would go a little bit more in depth on how these insects have come about. And we're going to talk a little bit about the paleo history of bees. So bees and this this general grouping of insects, these Hymenopterans, they started to show up in the fossil history around the same time that flowering plants showed up. So flowering plants showed up, and then we started getting these insects that live off of flowering plants and pollinate. So early mid-Cretaceous. So these fossilized versions of today's Hymenopterans, they were closer in comparison to what we call Sphekiforms or Sphechidae, which is a grouping of wasps, actually. So the prehistoric bees are more similar to wasps than they are bees, and since they've evolved into bees and wasps, I guess they have a common ancestor. Yeah, but humans have been researching the relationship of wasps and bees since as early as the early 1800s. Um, and there's the concept that the dependence on sugary flour substances for food is likely an adaptation that came from consuming the sugary excretions from different insects. So ants can farm different insects like aphids and mealybugs and stuff like that. In fact, I think it was Strong. I think it was you who posted a picture of some mealybugs being farmed by ants on a plant. That's actually really common. Um, the ants are consuming the sugary residue that comes from those aphids and that pest insect. Yeah, so it's reasonable to believe that the dependence on things like nectar has come from a pre-adaptation towards eating sugary residue from insects. Yeah. Anyways, they've evolved side by side. Flowering plants require these insects. That being said, it's not just bees and such that do pollinating. Like there's a lot of different pollinators out there. Bees get a lot of credit for it because there's a lot of bees, but like there's other ones too. Yeah. All right. So here's an example of a prehistoric bee, Trigona prisca. It was originally discovered in the early 1900s in New Jersey, of all areas, preserved in amber from the Cretaceous period. So it was a stingless bee, meaning it didn't have a stinger. Hey, hey, it's Hunt. Hi, Hunt. Um, Ants kind of evolved alongside bees because they come from the same group. So when that group kind of branched off in general into their own category, ants would have come from that same group. But ants also rely a lot on nectar and things, but they're a little more omnivorous. They consume other things as well. Yeah, good question. Um, Prior to bees, pollination was probably largely caused by wind. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Where were we? Yes, stingless bee. So stingers are actually a evolutionary trait originally from ovipositors, meaning that stingers are actually something that is only found on a female insect because an ovipositor is for depositing eggs, and male insects don't need to deposit eggs. They don't have eggs. Anyways, so this would have been a stingless bee, which could possibly indicate that it either is uh, pre-stinger evolution or male. Yep, possible. Yeah. Anyways, very cool. Very cool. One more. Mellitus Vex Bermensis. So this one was found in Burma, and it was discovered in 2006. Also preserved in amber. This is an actual image of the insect that was found. The really interesting find on this specimen is the undamaged plumose hairs. So what it's referring to is the fuzziness, the fuzzy furry bits of bees that helps carry and collect pollen. Having these preserved in the amber with pollen grains shows that they were collecting pollen and they were transporting it around. It's proof of pollination. It's really exciting. Yeah. Also early Cretaceous, and it's a male specimen. Just very cool shit. Anyway, so that's kind of it for our paleo history of bees. Do you guys have any questions about that? I guess I didn't throw it on here, but the migration is that the idea is that bees, Hymenopterans in general, originated in the region, kind of Asia-ish regions would be the original origin, and then a spread towards Europe and Africa, and it was through human movement that they spread further than that. Well, honeybees at least. We'll talk about that again later. Yeah, okay, types of bees. So narrowing in on bees from Hymenoptera. Hymenoptera includes our wasps, it includes our sawflies, our horntails, and our ants. But now we're just going to talk about bees. So bees are kind of our apidae section of insects. They're very closely related to wasps, very closely related to ants, but they are their own grouping. Bees are mostly solitary. It's only honeybees that are actually social and form colonies. The rest of these form really small single queen colonies that are only 1 year in strength, and then there's new queens that follow up the next year. Okay, so types of bees. We have honeybees, bumblebees, leafcutter bees, sweat bees, digger bees, orchid bees, carpenter bees, mining bees. There's more than that. That's just a list of a bunch of them. Like the region I live in has all of these except for orchid bees, because orchids don't really thrive in this region. There are orchids here. There's like 2 species native to my region, but like that's it. There's 2 species. And they don't, yeah, we don't get orchid bees. Anyways, yeah, so lots of different bees. Honeybees are the ones we'll focus on later in this presentation, but for now we'll talk about all of these guys. Bumblebees are, actually, they were first described by Darwin when he did his original trip on the voyage of the Beagle. And he initially termed them humblebees because of the hum sound they make, the hum. And then with time they got called bumblebees and that name stuck. But yeah, Bombus species are bumblebees. Big fuzzy friends. Bumblebees are responsible for a lot of vibration pollination because of the sheer amount of buzzing that they cause. So like blueberries. Blueberries are a bell-shaped flower, so the flower hangs upside down, and the pollen drops out of the flower. Whenever big bumblebees and rumbly bees like them crawl through into the cup shape of the flower and buzz around, it causes the vibration of the pollen to drop down. It's very fascinating. Very cool. Yeah, okay. Sweat bees. Sweat bees are fucking adorable. Sweat bees will like lick the sweat off of you because they like the salts in it. It's really cute. Leafcutter bees are fascinating as well. Leafcutter bees and ants exist, but they have different purposes with the leaf that they're collecting. So a leafcutter ant will take perfectly circular chunks of leaf back to their nest, and they'll use it to grow fungus, and then they will consume the fungus. Whereas leafcutter bees, they will take perfectly round sections of leaf and they will use it to create a nest that their larvae can cocoon inside of. Very exciting. It's very common for people to build leafcutter beehives and mason beehives. It's very, very fun and easy way to increase bee species populations in your own yard. I have one in my yard. It's lovely. Okay, digger bees like to live in the ground. I've got digger bees that are living in my yard as well. They like to burrow at the corners of pots and things. Orchid bees obviously hang out with orchids. Carpenter bees are ones that like to burrow in wood. Mining bees are another species of bee that nests in the ground. Oh, bumblebees often nest in the ground as well, just so you know. But all of these produce something similar to honey that they feed to their larvae, but it's only honeybees that produce the honey that we're familiar with. Okay. We're going to play a game. So everyone go to that link I sent you before. Pop that open. I'll show you what it is. Bum, 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 bum. Here we are. It's a guide to identifying different insects. So we're going to play a game where I show you images of bugs and you guys guess what the fuck they are. Very exciting. There's going to be 25 images total. And you guys get to decide. Is it a bee? Is it a fly? Is it a wasp? Is it a moth? Is it a beetle? What is it? So there's this guide that can give you a go. Yeah. So I think there's one for flies up top, right? Yeah. So bee, fly, and wasp, butterfly, moth, and down to beetle is what you're gonna need. You won't need the whole guide, but yeah. Anyways, feel free to use this. Before we start though, I'll give you the basics of what it is you're looking for. So when you're looking for bees and wasps specifically, we look for that 3 body segments. You can see here, there's 1, 2, 3. 3 body segments. 1, 2, 3 body segments. 1, 2, 3. 3 body segments. Wow. Another thing, pollen carrying hair. They're fucking fuzzy. Bees are hairy. Yeah. The long antenna, they often have an elbowed antenna, which means if you can look really close right here, you can see this, the bend in the antenna. Their antennae are long as well. Eyes, bees typically have long eyes that sit down the side of their face like this. I don't know, they're cute as fuck. And triangular shaped heads quite often. You can see that here, triangle kind of head shape, pointy mouth. And yeah, okay. Flies have 2 body segments that you can see. So there's 1, 2. They also only have 2 wings. They don't have 4, 1 pair of wings. These guys have 4 wings. Not always super easy to see, but flies really specifically have 2, and it's easy to see that there's 2 because they typically hold them out to the side of their body. Also, their eyes are very different from bees. Quite often they touch at the top in the middle. And they have super short antennae. So you'll see, like, you can barely see the antenna coming off the front of their faces. So that's a really good indicator of flies. 2 wings and short antenna. And then wasps. A lot of wasps have a very, very long, narrow waist like this. And they look quite similar to bees, but often don't have as much hair. So they're quite shiny in color compared to the bees that are more fuzzy, and so they don't get this shine or like a metallic look quite the same. Bees and wasps are a little trickier to tell apart. The more often you look at them, the easier it gets. Butterflies, moths, I feel like you guys should more or less understand what they look like. And then beetles. Beetles are really cute. They have these really hard shells. So they can also have 3 body segments, but it's not a pinched waist. Like, it's not a really thin pinch. It's still a wide connection. Yeah. Anyways, you guys can use this cheat sheet, or these cheat sheets, and we'll go through. Here. I'm going to turn the bee sounds back on. All right, game time. So, everyone ready? You're going to have to keep track of your own scores. Kaylee, if you want to make polls for this for everyone to vote, that would be fun too, but like, don't feel like you have to, because that'll be a lot of work. But you guys, just shout in chat what you think each thing is. All right, let's begin. What bug is this? Who do we have? And I will wait a while to see a bunch of responses, and then we'll go on. Okay, so far I'm seeing in chat that people believe this is a bee. And so, let's see, what do we got? Yeah, it's a bumblebee! So this guy is actually an orange-banded bumblebee, or a tricolor bumblebee. These live in my region and I love them. They're so cute. I see them all the time. They're a big bee. They cause a really big rumble sound. Alright, who's this? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Ba 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 ba. I love this guy. He's so cute. All right, so chat is chat suggests that this is a wasp, and yeah, it's a minor wasp. So this is not one that lives in my region. This is a southern US wasp. She's not that big. She's fairly small, and she's pretty docile. All she's doing is collecting nectar for her larva. Very cute. Okay, Who's this? We got some votes for flies. Someone says less fuzzy bee. What else do we think it's gonna be? Come on, guys. Couple more guesses. Hey! Glad to see Tom voting in with something, chiming in. Okay. Yeah, this is a hoverfly, or a surf and fly. These are bee mimicking flies. They're also excellent pollinators, and as larvae, they're parasitic. So they cause a lot of benefits to people and gardeners because they provide pollination services and pest control services. Yep. Not all of these are parasitic larvae, by the way, just some of them, but there's only a few that do it, but still very cool. Very cool. Hoverfly. Alright, who's this? She's so pretty. I like her. Don't mind me, I'm gonna crack a drink here. Okay. Oh look, I carry my butt in a sack. Yep. Tamasan knows their shit. Yeah, this is a thread-waisted wasp. So this is the speciform wasps that I was referring to at the beginning of the presentation. These ones are the most similar to the prehistoric and fossilized Hymenopterans that people who dig up fossils, that's what they think. Scientists. Anyways. Red-waisted wasp! Lovely, lovely, lovely. Woodus! I love this picture. It's so damn cute. Bee on a bender. He? Tom! Come on, man. Come on, Tamatan. That's what I thought. That's a she. Clearly. We'll talk about the he's and she's of honeybees later, guys. But yeah, this is a worker honeybee, and she is coated in pollen. Yeah. Her hair basically acts like Velcro towards pollen, and so it just sticks. It's really cute. She's got a whole bunch of bristles on her legs that she can use, kind of like, you know how when dogs get an itchy ear and stuff, they like use their hand, or not their hand, their paw, and they like scratch at their ear? They do the same thing with their legs. They kind of brush them over their body and collect all the pollen, and then they push it onto their thighs, and it's really fucking cute, and I call it pollen pants. Okay, next one. Who dat? Oh, yeah, pollen totally has adaptations towards sticking to bees. Let me show you. You guys can look at that one, and I'm also going to show you pollen grains. Pollen grains are also like Velcro. Look at them. Look at all these weird-ass shapes. Every single species of plant has different pollen, too. So you can, there are scientists and people that specifically check, for... They'll look at honey under electron microscopes like this in order to ascertain what kind of plants the honey has been made from, and they can track the region the honey was produced in order to make sure that the honey being shipped around is actually where it's coming from, where they say it's coming from, and it's been produced properly. There's a whole bunch of issues regarding honey coming out of China, and I watched this thing once, it was really neat. So there's adulterated honey that comes out of certain countries, and some countries are way more common, like the practice of adulterating honey. Anyways, scientists can look at pollen and determine the species of the plant that the honey was made from. It's super fucking dope. But yeah, this guy. Pollen is sweet. Also, if you eat locally produced honey, you increase the content of pollen that your body interacts with, and it can help lower, or not lower, it mitigates a little bit of the effects of allergies because you're consuming pollen from the plants in your region. Pollen is also super protein and carb dense. Okay. Moth! Yeah! It's actually, this is a snowberry clearwing moth. She's very cute. She's got these cute transparent wings. She's a hummingbird moth. She's lovely. Okay, who dis? What do we got today? We got 2 guesses, 3 guesses. Come on, guys, what do you think it is? Look at the shape of her head and her butt. While we're at it, what's the long ass thing sticking off the end of her bum? Any guesses? Yeah! It's an ovipositor, so it's an ichneumon wasp. So this is a wasp that has, and it's tricky to see because the pinch is hiding right behind this blade of grass. Oh my god, Brad. But yeah, this is an ovipositor. So it's not a stinger. It does not sting. It's actually kind of bendy, much like an antenna. And it's used for her to stick it like underneath bark and stuff and deposit her eggs in a safe location where they can hatch. Yeah. Ichneumon wasp. She's lovely. She's very cute. Who dat? Who dat? We got votes for B. Consistent votes for B. Bum, 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 bum. That's my homie Kevin. Kaylee, that's me. I love the discussion. Baby. It's a game, it's not a test. Don't worry. I like the dump truck it's working with. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. This is a drone honeybee. So this is a male honeybee. The males are easily identified for their giant ass eyes. So, hun, I totally see where you were going with the eyes. The eyes look incredibly fly-like. But Varric has a point. There are 4 wings. There's 2 sets, 2 pairs. And the antennae are quite long. So you were right on your instinctive guess of it being a bee. It just happens to be a male honeybee. Not all male bees do this giant bulgy eye business, but the male honeybees do. Yeah, and he's called a drone. He's all junky. Oh, he also doesn't have a stinger. So if you are ever working with bees and you come across one of these chunky boys, you can pick him up with your bare hands, because I promise you, they cannot hurt you. Who dat? I hope you guys are having fun with this game. I fucking love this. If I really wanted to challenge you, I would have found some queen spotting for you, but that's some tough shit. We'll try queen spotting another day. Or I can show you where to do queen spotting. What do you think, Fruit? Who's this? Oh, Kaylee, if you're a drone bee, don't play with that. These are the creeps that eat me. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, she's got some nice legs. Definitely. She's got some nice fuzzy legs. She's a very fuzzy lady. Alright, we have some guesses for bees. I like that. Yeah, that's a sweat bee. So sweat bees are very regularly metallic green like this. I've actually seen one in person. It was so exciting. But yeah. Very nice. Who dat? This guy has serrated antenna and elytra. I mean, it has the potential to bite, but there's no stinger. Is that a Beetleborg? I fucking love the accuracy of the antenna on the Beetleborgs because they actually used real beetle antenna and things that are only seen in beetles. Oh god, I loved it. Yeah, you guys are right. This is a beetle. This is a Longhorn Beetle. Longhorn beetles are very typically related, like they have very close relations to plants and very specific plants typically. Some of them can bite, and they can bite really fucking hard. They have some decent sized mandibles. You can actually see them pretty well right there. Yeah. This is giving Gary vibes. Oh, Gary. I guess this is what you look like. No coffee and baguettes. Oh, bad. Made elytra from Minecraft a real thing. Well, elytra are a beetle thing. Elytra are the shell wings that they have. Can't be Gary. Okay. Ah! Okay, who's this? We have a vote for Wasp. A vote for Hornet. That's Dave. Wasp. Good votes, guys. Brad, you are correct. This is, in fact, Dave. Is this the Bee movie? No, this is not the Bee movie. Fuck, I hate the Bee movie. The Bee movie's a piece of shit. Piece of shit. Bunch of garbage, fake bee information. Bees my ass. Goddamn Jerry Seinfeld, piece of shit. Okay. This is a yellow jacket. This is your standard paper wasp. This is your standard yellow jacket. She is gorgeous. I think these girls are fucking beautiful. I will have to find, I'll post it in the Discord for you guys. I have a video of one of these ladies using her mandibles to collect wood pulp to build a nest. Very lovely. Yeah, Yellow Jacket Wasp. Good job, guys. Who dat? Who this cutie? I fucking hate the bee movie hunt. It's such a bullshit. Goddamn. Oh no, all the honeybees are dead. All the honeybees are dead. All the crops are gonna die instantly. Because it's not how it fucking works. Bullshit. And the fucking males don't have stingers, damn it. Yeah, there's another real cute moth. You guys are right. Oh, look at her cute face. Oh, she's so sweet. Okay, who dat? I like moths too. Hunt, you sound like my boyfriend. My boyfriend hates moths. If we ever get them in the house, I have to get them out for him because he's just like, nope, 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 no moths for me. I love moths. There are these cute moths outside my house right now at this time of year that looks like they look like cows. Fuck, I love them. They're so cute. You have the exact same reasoning for hating moths too. That's funny. I've never had them try and flutter into my face. It must just be you guys. Moths must not like men. I think it's a man thing. I think they just are attracted to men. Okay. Hoverfly. There's another hoverfly. There's another serpent fly. Okay, who these boys? Or girls? One of each. No video. I'm sorry, dudes. This is totally kids friendly. This is just nature. Like where we need what's his face? That British dude who narrates all the nature movies. David Attenborough. Maybe we'll get him to narrate. These are the digger bees. Just by the way, these are bees. These are the digger bees. You can see them interacting together as the male mounts the female and performs the ceremonial. Okay, those are digger bees. They're so fucking cute. Okay, okay. Who dat? Raisin. This is not a raisin. Any more guesses? Anyone else wanna guess? That's Claudette. Yellow raisin to me. Oh yeah, yellow raisin. Okay, hairy ass fly. Gonna be the final. Is this gonna be on the final? Knowing me, yeah, this is on the final. You should know this one. It's a bee fly! So this is a fly. You guys are good. So this is separate from the hoverflies. This is from a different group, a different family of flies. What you're seeing here sticking out is actually its proboscis. These are its teeny ass little antennae right here off to the side. It's got these big forward-facing, large bulbous eyes. You can see his thorax and his abdomen, but there's it's a wide connection, and only 2 wings. Yeah, so that's kind of a feature of the Bumblebee family. They have a long proboscis like that. Sometimes some species can kind of curl them in, some of them it just sticks out like that all the time. They're pretty cute. They're very small. Bee fly. Oh yeah, who dis buddy? We have a vote for bee, another vote for interesting bee, vote for bee, specifically a carpenter bee, emo bee. Any more votes? Where's Gary? Gary, what do you think this is? Bee. Okay. Yeah, that's a carpenter bee. Nicely done. Isn't she cute? Ah, I love her. Alright, next one. Who dat? Ah, so cute. Both. It's a furry vibrator. That's my cousin Fred. Fucking oh my god, yeah, this is the moth again. Good job, guys. Who this? Who P. Shrewsbury is this? That's Natasha. She's fast as fuck. That was good shit. Good shit, guys. Good listen. That's Mr. Nibbles. Okay. It's the Hoverfly. Yeah, it's another Hoverfly. Take a peek. You've got some real short antenna. The eyes are very forward-facing. And it's a very broad... And again, it's hard to tell because the wings are in the way. But there's only 2 wings, not 4. And it is a broad connection between the those 2 back segments. Okay, who's this? We're almost at the end of the game. And then I have more information about bees. Specifically honeybees. Wowp. It's a... my phone likes to autocorrect when I try and type "what's up" to "wasp" sometimes. So my brother and I have a running joke where we'll just type in all caps "wasp" and be like "what's up," but it's yeah wasp, wasp. Why do all wasps look like meth addicts outside my local 7-Eleven? Lol. I always think they look like the real wacky outfits on runways, like those really strange long bulbous shapes, and I don't know. That's what I think of. Ah, I love wasps. I genuinely love wasps. I think they're gorgeous. Yeah, that's another thread-waisted wasp. Lovely thing. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. Who dat? That's Grandma. Ah. You guys are funny. Alright. It's in fact a fly. That's a fly. I don't know what kind of fly that one is. I'm pretty sure it's a bee fly of some kind. Bee fly, I'm guessing totally based on the shape of how it's holding its wings. Very tiny antenna, only 2 wings. Broad connected. Waist. Fly. Alright, who dat? Ah. Okay, 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 guys. Yeah, that's a mining bee. So mining bees are typically this nice little red color. They're similar in size to your European honeybee. And very cute, very cute. But they often get an insect parasite called Strepsiptera, or twisted winged parasites. Those are fascinating things. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Okay, who dat? I think they're called mining bees because they live underground. They like to burrow. Their Latin family name is Andrina. Hunt, you were clearly not here for the last educational topic. You should know that dragonflies are not flies. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Go and seed. Alright, good guesses, guys. This is another hoverfly. Good job, good job. He's got a weird-ass flat abdomen. That's something that flies often have. I don't know why, but it is. Who dat? No, that was not a fruit fly. That was a hoverfly. I've seen these guys IRL. I found a bunch of them last summer. So cool. Data bugger. Indeed. Data bugger. Everyone guessed? How do we feel? He's a beetle! That is not a flea. That's nothing like a flea. Aha, get the fuck out. Who dis? Also, welcome, aha. Glad you made it. This is, in fact, a mud dauber. Tamatan said mud dauber earlier today. This is a mud dauber. I've seen her IRL as well. Fuck, she's pretty. With her legs spread out, she's got about an inch span. She's quite large. Quite large for a wasp. Another thread-waisted wasp. Specifically a mud dauber. That is not proof that God makes mistakes. That is proof that God makes goddamn gorgeous insects. Look at her. She's fucking beautiful. Ah, I love her. Who's that? That looks like aha. Transformer. It's a bumblebee. Oh my god, I don't know if any of you guys kept up with your scores, but if any of you did, what'd you get? Ah, you guys are good at this. Nicely done! 1000%? Not bad. No. It'll be as curved as some sternites. Bee joke. Ha! Bee morphology joke. Very entertaining. Good one, Nep. Alright, guys. Pause that again. Alright. So, moving on. I think we did a good job of learning all about, shut up, Eric. Learning about how to tell these insects apart. I hope you guys get to actually practice that IRL. I find it very exciting to play bee fly wasp when I'm outside. None of you guys even got that joke, so fuck right off. You don't even know what a goddamn sternite is, do you? Didn't think so. Okay. Honeybees. So, honeybees are a specific type of bee. They're known for the creation of honey. Do bees fart? No! Can we trade it in for a new chart? Joe, fuck off. You were learning again. Shut up. All my students, shut the fuck up. Okay. Honeybees. Honeybees are a specific group of bees known for the creation of honey in a large quantity. They create it in reserve to store for themselves to use as food in the future. Okay, so honeybees are the social bees. You social insects have to have 3 traits in order to be considered social, and these are the necessary traits. Overlapping generations, meaning there will be larvae, there will be pupa, there will be adults, and they will overlap. That all of them will be present within the colony at any given time because we have overlapping generations. It's not one wave of insects. Cooperative brood care is another really specific piece. So even though the worker bees did not lay the eggs and it's not genetically their baby, they still take care of them. They still rear the larva into adulthood. Yeah. And then presence of castes. So castes refer to different versions of an insect that provide different tasks within the hive. So in honeybees, the 2 female castes would be the queen and the worker. And then we also have the drone. But the 2 castes are the females. Generally speaking, there are 4 agreed upon species of honeybees. There's the European, Indian, giant, and dwarf honeybees. The giant is also known as the rock honeybee, depending on regions. But yeah, Apis mellifera is the one that we know most commonly. Same with Apis cerana is the second most common honeybee species. Apis cerana are often kept in Southeast Asia. They're a much smaller bee. They produce honey in a smaller quantity, and the honey is a little bit different in taste. But they do work as a bee to keep in a hive. I don't know of any Apis cerana that are kept in North America, though. Okay. The giant and the dwarf honeybees, they will not live in hives. They refuse to live within a structure like a hive, and they will only build comb out in the open. So they're not used for honeybee keeping and honey production for that reason. You can't keep them. They don't want to stay in a hive. But people do still steal the honey from them, and it's honey hunting. Do you smell what the Apis dorsata is cooking? Oh my god, get out, it's wrong. It's not the rock. Anyways, these are honeybees. These are the 4 kinds of honeybees. I hope that was fascinating. I hope you guys learned that there are 4 kinds of honeybees. But yeah, European honeybee is the standard honey that we consume, is from the European honeybee, Apis mellifera. Okay, so these are the 3 castes of the European honeybee. We have the queen, we have the drone, and we have the worker. They are all produced in a different type of comb within the hive. So drone honeybees are produced in a similar comb to the worker honeybee that's just on a regular frame. It's a horizontally faced cell. It sits horizontally within the hive. A worker bee is produced in a 1/5 inch 1/5 of an inch diameter, or 0.5 centimeters. There are 5 cells per inch, approximately. A female bee will be reared in that. Drones will be produced in a slightly larger cell at 1/4 of an inch in diameter, 0.65 centimeters. There will be 4 cells per inch within the hive. Drones are often produced when honeycomb has been damaged, and worker bees will repair honeycomb to this larger size and width, and then they'll produce drones within them. And then queen bees are actually reared within a vertical cell, and they're produced at the edge of the hive, around the edge of the comb, and it's in a vertical cup shape, and the egg is within the cup at the base of the cup. I guess it would be the top, though, because the cup hangs upside down from the bottom of the comb. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, so that's, those are our honeybee case and how they come about within the hive. So, yeah. You can tell what's going to come out of each comb based on the size and shape of the comb. Very cool. Okay, here are some really interesting differences between the 3 of the castes. So I have a whole, these are all of my handwritten notes, by the way, guys, from when I took an apiculture course years ago. I just figured I'd steal my notes and use them again. But you can tell honeybees apart through their head shape. Like a queen has a slightly rounded head, a worker has a very triangular head, and a drone has a very round head. The queen has 2 compound eyes, 2 pairs of compound eyes. Worker has 1 pair of compound eyes. Same with the drone. There's touch at the top of the head. As far as ocelli go, ocelli are an additional set of light sensing eyes that are at the very top of the head. You can't see them in these images. They're quite small and they don't sense colors and shapes. They just sense light and dark. But both females have 3 of those, and there are none on the drone, and that's because the drone's eyes connect at the top of the head. They all have antennae, although the drone happens to have an extra set of segments on the end. Mouth parts, you can see the difference here. The drone and the queen don't do any collection of honey materials, no foraging, and so it's only the worker that has a long proboscis. And then mouth parts are quite interesting. The queen is the only one that has a mouth part that could be used to damage another insect. She has quite long, sharp mandibles, and that is because she will kill off other emerging queens if she is not ready to be replaced. The worker really doesn't have a strong mandible at all. She doesn't really need to do that. No real biting necessary. And then a drone has a little bit of a hooked mandible, and that's mostly to hold on to the queen when they're in a mating flight. Some more information. More information. A queen bee, her wings are quite a bit, well, they're not shorter than a worker bee. You'll see they're kind of the same length as a worker bee, but her abdomen is so elongated that her wings only cover a little bit of the abdomen, whereas a worker bee, the wings go back and cover the majority of the abdomen. And then a drone, their wings are about the same as the workers. This is something that you would never be able to see on a bee, but basically pollen pants. Pollen pants will only ever be on a worker bee. Yeah, and then another interesting piece is with the stingers. A drone does not have a stinger. A worker bee has a straight, loosely attached stinger that is heavily barbed. It's why their stinger often pulls out when they sting. Because of the recurved barbing, the stinger can't release from whatever it's been pushed into, and then because it has a loose attachment to the body, it just pulls apart from the body. Whereas a queen has a very firmly attached stinger with only a few barbs, and so she's able to sting multiple times. And that is also useful for, in the case of emerging queens, if she is not ready to be replaced, she can sting other queens. And another set, I'm not going to go through all of this because this is way more in-depth than you need. Basically, a queen has some real big ovaries used to produce a hell of a lot of eggs. And workers have some really interesting glands that are used to produce food that they feed to larvae, and they have wax-producing organs called sternites. Well, yeah, they're on the sternites. The sternites are the plates on the belly, and then between the plates on the belly, there is a wax-producing gland, and so that's where honeycomb comes from. Honeycomb is bee wax, Beeswax is self-produced. Okay. Life cycle. So bees and insects in general are kind of interesting. They have a little bit of a genetic system to humans and mammals. So we operate on a paired chromosome system and an X and Y chromosome system. In order to get a female in humans and mammals, specifically humans I can speak to, you need an X and an X chromosome. You get a female. If you have an X and a Y chromosome, you get a male. In bees, if you have paired chromosomes, meaning there's two, you get a fertilized egg, and then you get a female. If it's an unfertilized egg, single chromosomes, not paired, you get a male. So males are haploid, females are diploid. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how you get males and females. The queen will either fertilize an egg because she holds all of the sperm within an organelle called the spermatheca, which is housed in her abdomen, so she can make the decision to fertilize the egg or quickly bypass the egg past the spermatheca to not be fertilized, and then she lays a male. Yeah. And so that's how queens come about. Queens come about, it's a female egg. There's no difference between a worker egg and a queen egg. At first, it's just an egg. Either one can go in either location. You get a queen based off of diet. It's all based on nutrition. Queens feed on something called royal jelly, and it's only fed to queen larvae. And that's how you end up with a queen. Yeah. I didn't feel like retyping any of this, so I just copied the handwritten notes over. So I'll just give you a brief overview of this division of labor among workers. So within the hive, there's a whole bunch of different jobs that need to be performed, and honeybees kind of go through stages of doing different jobs as they age. So when an adult honeybee first emerges, she does jobs like cleaning in the hive, cell cleaning. She does some work with capping, so she'll take bits of wax and help cover the lids of other cells of larvae that are about to pupate, of honeycomb. Yeah, and then after a few days of that, she becomes a brood queen tending bee, and that's because she has really hyperactive food producing glands at this age, and so she spends all of her time doing the nursery work within the hive. And so that's tending to the queen, making sure she's fed and cleaned and things like that, and then also taking care of the larvae within the hive. Following that is when her wax producing glands were going to be at their peak, and so she'll move into a wax producing comb building phase of her life. And she'll do a lot of work within the hive with honey production, not necessarily foraging, but the work of removing water content from the hive's nectar stores so that it becomes honey. And then following that job, she'll start moving into outdoor tasks, so ventilating, guarding, foraging. That is the last stage of honeybee life. So once they get to the age of being a forager, they're reaching the end of their life cycle. Yeah, and so bees will sometimes stand at the entrance of their hive and fan air around the entrance to help cool the hive down. They do some guarding to keep pests out, and then definitely the foraging. It's very interesting. Drones do not play a work role within the hive. It is only the workers, and then the queens are busy laying eggs all day. Here's a generalized history of apiculture. I wanted to include this because I think it's very fascinating. Apiculture is just beekeeping. It's beekeeping. It's the science of beekeeping and the culture around beekeeping. So beekeeping kind of began as early... Yeah, You're not wrong. Okay, so what Hunt is referring to here, drones just die after they bust a nut. Yeah, so similar to how female bees will lose their stinger when they sting because it pulls out of their body and then other organs come with it. That exact same thing happens to male drones when they mate. Their penis falls off and it kills them. Yep. Bees for you. Nice. Okay, history of apiculture. So, the pre-Christian or Roman era, there's evidence that beekeeping, honey hunting, things within that realm have been happening as early as 2500 BC. And it's largely characterized by honey hunting and primitive hives like clay vases, baskets, things like that that are easy for bees to move into. The Dark Ages, largely within Europe, ended around the 1500s, similar to the pre-Christian era, and characterized by simple keeping methods. This era was dominated in Europe by the use of a hive called a skep, which was straw that was kind of braided together and then coiled. When you think of a classic honeybee hive, like the shape, that structure and shape of one, like Winnie the Pooh honeybee hives, that's kind of where that imagery comes from, is the Dark Age hives. Okay, followed by the revival of learning era. This is from about the 1500s to the 1850s. There was a boom in scientific understanding of honeybees. And then the movement of bees around the world. So honeybees were introduced to North America somewhere in the 16th and 17th century. Fun fact that a lot of indigenous groups referred to the honeybee as the white man's fly because they appeared with the appearance of white settlers and white colonists. Australia, they appeared in 1822, New Zealand, 1842, and in South America, they were brought over in 1839. So honeybees were more recently introduced to North America. So again, we hear a lot of information about we gotta save the bees, save the bees, save the bees. A lot of you are here in North America with me. It's really more important to focus on native bee species than the honeybees, because honeybees aren't even a native species to us. So when you're considering saving the bees, don't focus on honeybees. Focus on your native species. What kind of plants do they need for habitat? What kind of things do they eat? How can you provide them with those staple pieces for their life cycles? Okay, the revival of learning era was very quickly changed into the comb honey era with the introduction of a phenomenon called bee space, and we'll cover bee space in another slide or two. And then also the introduction of a practice called chunk honey. And so there's a little picture of it here. Chunk honey is a piece of comb honey sitting in liquid honey. And so what was going on a lot of the time in this era is people were beginning to adulter their honey. They were, what's the term? Cutting it. They were cutting their honey with sugar syrup and syrup solutions. And so their honey was no longer pure, and the reduced quality meant that people were no longer as happy with it. And so what producers were doing, also because of this new bee space phenomenon, the increase in accessibility of comb, you'd put a chunk of honeycomb within the honey itself, and you'd sell it like that as proof that your honey was unadulterated. And then we are currently in the extracted honey era. The extracted honey era is known for this kind of centrifuge style of honey extraction. Yeah. Anyways, this is modern day beekeeping, is the extracted honey era. And then we also now have a process called the dice process for producing creamed honey, which is honey that's just crystallized. Very small, small crystals. Yeah. Okay. And here's some information about the hive. So, fun stuff. Honeybees don't actually build hives. When left to their own devices, they will build free-hanging comb, like this. Paper wasps will build an enclosed hive, like this. This is a wasp thing. Honeybees don't do this. If you see something that looks like this in a tree or on the side of your house, it's not a fucking bee. Not bees. Always wasps. Always paper wasps. This is bees. Bees also like nesting in enclosed spaces, so quite often you'll find them in like electrical boxes, or they'll get into the between the walls of your home and they'll nest in there because it's a safe enclosed space, and they'll build their comb within it. Anyways, so bee space. Bee space is a really interesting phenomenon. Bee space is the perfect amount of space required for honeybees to move within the hive without them feeling the need to build extra comb. Any extra comb built within the hive that's not on the frames is called burr comb. And you don't want burr comb to be produced, because when they start producing burr comb, you can't open and maintain your hive as well. So this bee space keeps your hive neat and tidy and organized, and it's perfect. This dude named Hoffman is the one who discovered it. And so there's the Hoffman self-spacing frame. Frames are built to maintain this amount of space between the comb. They have this little shoulder business on the top of each frame that keeps them separated. Foundation sits at the center of each frame. It's either a piece of pressed beeswax or plastic that has the shape of honeycomb that makes it really easy for bees to build off of. And then you have about 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 frames sitting lengthwise across the hive like this. Your hive always has the same structure. You have a bottom board. You have the hive body or brood chamber. This is where the queen hangs out and produces eggs. There will be 2 brood boxes typically, and then followed by honey supers, and that is where honey production actually takes place. Hives can be anywhere from like 2 to 10 boxes tall. Just depends on the length of the season, how much your bees are producing, how big your colony is. You can always add boxes. You can always add more boxes on top. A lot of beekeepers will use something called a queen excluder, and all it is it's a mesh that forces the queen to stay within the brood chamber area of the hive. She can't pass through the size of the holes in it, whereas a worker can. So workers can move up and down through the hive. The queen gets stuck in the brood chamber, and for commercial beekeepers, this is really nice, because then when you're harvesting your honey, you never accidentally take your queen with you. Your queen always remains within the hive. And then there's never any egg production happening above the queen excluder. But a lot of backyard beekeepers don't bother with it because it's really not as necessary. The queen typically stays down below if your colony's not that big. Okay. You guys have any questions about hives? Oh, bees love painted hives because it helps them tell their hives apart. If you have multiple hives together, it's nice to color them so that they can find their hive themselves. The only thing is, don't paint your hives red, apparently. Bees don't really like the color red on a hive. Very strange. A beekeeper told me that once. I don't know if there's actually scientific merit to it. Yeah, they do like purple and blue. They also really like yellow. Yeah, purple and yellow flowers often occur in nature together because they have a really strong effect on pulling pollinators towards them. Okay, beekeeper tools. These are the tools you will see beekeepers utilize. The 3 essentials, veil, smoker, and hive tool. Your veil is that net that goes over your face to keep the bees off of your face and out of your eyes. The smoker is what is used to pump smoke around the bees. All it does is it causes them to get a little bit sleepy, and they get a bit panic. Well, they don't get sleepy from the smoke. They go into panic mode. They think they need to flee their hive, and they go and stuff their mouths with honey. They fill their tummy full of honey. It makes them sleepy as a result. So smoking your bees actually calms them down. Hive tool. This is a really handy little tool. It's a piece of metal that's slightly curved. And you just use it to pry things apart because comb is sticky. I don't think weed smoke has an impact on the bees. I think you would just also get high as you were working with them. But it's a good question. Often when I'm smoking weed in my yard and wasps are bothering me, I'll like specifically blow the smoke at them in the hopes that it causes them to calm down. I don't know if it works, but I try. But yeah, other things beekeepers will use: coveralls, gloves, or something called a bee brush. Most really well-versed beekeepers don't bother with the full bee suit. They just put the net over their head. And I mean, I personally have done some beekeeping where I don't even do that. I just make sure I have some glasses on to keep them out of my eyes, and I have gloves on. Yeah, and just so long as it's not like shorts and a t-shirt, you've got like your skin covered, you're good. A lot of the time your bees won't bother you at all if you open up their hive gently. This is really interesting. Bee communication. So bees are able to communicate with each other, and they have two known communication methods called their type of dance, the round dance and the waggle dance. So the round dance is used to indicate food is local to the hive. It's nearby. The bees don't have to go very far in order to forage. So it's a round dance where the bee moves first in a circle, turns around and goes the other way, turns around and goes the other way. So she's just kind of walking in a circle and going back and forth. Yeah. The waggle dance, however, is used to indicate that there is good foraging a decent distance away from the hive. So you're going to have to fly to get there. Now, this dance is actually fairly intricate in that it shows distance and direction to the other bees based on how the honeybee is dancing. So, imagining the top bar of the frame, so this piece, the top bar, so this is the upper part of the hive. The bee will dance as if the sun is in relation to the top bar. So if the sun is at the peak for the day, so like noon in the center of the sky, if she is dancing at like at a 45-degree angle from the top bar, she's indicating that you need to go in that general direction from the sun, from the hive. It's a little confusing, but it indicates direction. The direction she does her waggle indicates the direction from the hive. The speed of the waggle that she does indicates distance. If it's just kind of like a little bit of a waggle, just a little couple waggles back and forth as she does her thing, it's closer. The more speed to the wag as she does this dance, the further the distance. Yeah, very cool. Overwintering. Honeybees kind of hibernate. They can stay in cold climates. So here's a photo of me with my bees. This is the beehives all wrapped up for winter. So they're kind of kept in this really plush looking business, and there's an entrance that's maintained at the base of the hive and then again at the top of the hive. So here you can see that they have an entrance that they are exiting and entering from. Honeybees are very cleanly. They will not poop in their hive. They will leave their hive in the middle of winter and go on flights to do their business. They'll keep their hive very clean even as the weather is cold. Yep. And then honey extraction. So honey is extracted off of frames pretty much the same way around the world. The first step is to cap or decap your hive or your frames because they cap all of the cells with wax. So yeah, that's how that works. And then here, if I can open this, this is what a honeybee honey extractor looks like. So if it opens, come on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Why gotta be difficult? All of these videos seem so damn long. I don't want to actually listen to you talk. I just want to see the extractor in action. Okay, so he's got the wax on the sides here. And what he's going to do is decap it. And then he's going to put it in this big centrifuge thing. So he's cutting the layer of wax off. And then he's throwing it into a centrifuge. And so, through the properties of centrifugal force, the honey will be pulled out of the frames. And so now that's completely empty of honey, and he can take it back out to the field. So, I don't know what he's doing now. I want to see this part in action. Okay, so at the base of the extractor, where all the honey has collected, he's able to open a little spigot here, and outflows all of that delicious honey that he's harvested. And there you go, honey. Nom 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 nom. Delicious. And then from there, he can fill his little jars. Yay! You don't actually have to do any more processing of honey. There's no cooking or anything that's involved. You can do the dice process and cream your honey, so you can do this even in a blender at home. So it's just a matter of like, I don't even know how to describe it. You let it sit for a while and it does its thing. She's not done this right. That's not cream honey. She didn't make it properly. Anyways, it's very, very interesting. And that is the end of our slideshow. That's all about bees. I hope you guys learned a lot. You guys have any other questions about bees? No, royal jelly is bee flavor. It's produced in an organelle inside the bee's head. She spits it out, feeds it to the baby. I have no idea what that extra antenna segment does. How do I become one? That's an excellent question. I'm not sure. Bees handle glacial periods of time. That's an oddly specific question that I'm not prepared to answer either. I have no idea what bees do about glacial periods. Clearly they've made it through some of them. How do bees react to black? Well, they're not really interested in it because black doesn't indicate food. Look at all these cuties. If you lock a bee in a dark room, I don't know, it's just gonna buzz around and be confused. Oh, look at that. This guy's tongue sticking out. We could try queen spotting. Alright, guys. Where's the queen? Do you see her? Do bees sleep? Kind of. They don't sleep quite the same way. They go into like a period of rest, but yeah. I don't know if bees can get depressed. Someone says bottom mid, someone says top left, JK middle right. Okay, okay. I can show you. It's right here. There's our queen. Dun, 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 dun. You can see she has a very long abdomen. And her back is a slightly shinier color than the worker bees. And then you'll also notice a very common phenomenon with worker bees is that they'll be in a circle around the queen, following her, constantly being prepared to offer her food and cleaning services. Yep. It's called her royal court. Very cute, very cute. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got with bees for you guys today. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed. I would stay around and play some games, but I have a whole bunch of gardening I need to finish today. And so I actually need to get back outside to my yard and finish that off. I've got a bunch of perennials to plant in the front. If you guys have suggestions for future topics, I don't think an army of ants has ever attacked a beehive. Japanese hornets can attack beehives, though. If you're interested in learning more about that, I suggest looking up Japanese hornets and bees. Talk about mammoth steppe. No, I don't know anything about that. Hunt, you put a PowerPoint together for me and I'll talk about it. Yeah, my topics that I can cover include plants and insects. We'll see. If you make me a PowerPoint, I will do it though. Alright, guys. This has been excellent, but I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna go do my gardening. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is a topic that I love. I love bees. I love talking about bees. I love looking at bees. Now you guys can also talk about bees with me. It's so exciting. Okay. I'll see you guys all around. We have horoscopes tomorrow evening. It'll be fun. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I may come on earlier and play some games. We'll see. Okay, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.